Hello and welcome to Z. In this episode, we are traveling to Boston. Stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon. Let's feel the beauty of Boston together. Boston. Boston is the capital and most populous city of Massachusetts and the cultural and financial heart of New England. It ranks 24th in population. The 2020 U.S. Census estimates the city's population at 675,647. Suffolk County seat, although the county government was disbanded on July 1, 1999. Greater Boston, home to an estimated 4.8 million people in 2016, is the 10th largest MSA in the country. A combined statistical area, CSA, includes Providence, Rhode Island, has 8.2 million people, making it the 6th most populous in the U.S. Boston is one of America's oldest cities, founded in 1630 by Puritans from the same-named English town. It was the site of the Boston Massacre, Boston Tea Party, Battle of Bunker Hill, and Siege of Boston. After American independence, the city remained a port, manufacturing powerhouse, and school and culture center. Land reclamation and annexation have expanded the city beyond the peninsula. Faneuil Hall alone receives 20 million visitors a year due to its rich history. Boston has the country's first public park, 1634, first public or state school, 1635, first subway, 1897, and first significant public library, Boston Public Library, 1848. Boston is a thriving research center. Boston's many schools and universities, especially Harvard and MIT, make it a world leader in higher education, including law, medicine, engineering, and business. With approximately 5,000 startups, the city is also a global pioneer in innovation and entrepreneurship. Boston's economy comprises finance, business services, biotechnology, IT, and government. Boston is the U.S. Center for LGBT culture and advocacy. The city's households give the most in the U.S. Boston firms and institutions rank well on sustainability and new investment. History. Natives. Massachusetts lived in Boston before European settlement. Small native villages in what became Boston presumably traveled between winter residences along the Charles River, named Quinobaquin, meaning meandering, where hunting was bountiful, and summer dwellings along the ocean, where fishing and shellfish beds were plentiful. Boylston Street is one of New England's oldest native fish weirs. Ancient natives built it to trap fish. Colonial. Boston's early European immigrants called the area Tri-Mountain after its three mountains, but later renamed it Boston after Boston, Lincolnshire, England, where some significant colonists were from. Puritans from England who had moved from Charlestown earlier that year renamed it on September 7, 1630, Old Style. Their settlement was initially limited to the Shawmut Peninsula, which was flanked by Massachusetts Bay and the Charles River. Peninsula was populated by 4000 BCE. John Winthrop, the first governor of Massachusetts Bay Colony, signed the Cambridge Agreement in 1629. Boston Latin School, America's first public school, was founded in 1635. John Hull and the Pine Tree Shilling helped found the Massachusetts Bay Colony and Old South Church in the 1600s. Massachusetts allowed John Hull to make coins in 1652. The Hull Mint produced silver coins, notably the Pine Tree Shilling, for over 30 years until politics and economics made it unfeasible. King Charles II judged the Hull Mint heinous treason, which carried a death sentence. Edward Randolph petitioned the king on April 6, 1681, saying the colony was still striking its own coins, which he considered high treason and grounds to dissolve the charter. He asked for a writ of quo warranto against Massachusetts for the offenses. Philadelphia outgrew Boston in the mid-18th century. Boston's coastal location made it a busy port throughout the colonial era. Before the Revolution, Boston stagnated. New York and Philadelphia eclipsed Boston in wealth by the mid-18th century. Boston had financial problems as other New England cities flourished quickly. Culture. Boston has many cultural roots with New England, including a version of the non-rhotic Eastern New England accent called the Boston accent and a regional cuisine that emphasizes seafood, salt, and dairy products. Boston's slang and sarcastic humor are neologisms. William Tudor called Boston the most flawless and best-regulated democracy ever since the days of that beautiful metropolis. I know of none that has approached so near in some points, however far from that historic model. Boston's literary culture has earned it the epithet the intellectual capital of the U.S. Emerson, Thoreau, Hawthorne, Fuller, Lowell, and Longfellow wrote in Boston in the 19th century. Some believe the Old Corner Bookstore the cradle of American literature, where writers convened and the Atlantic Monthly was first published. Boston Public Library was the first free library in the U.S. Boston's literary culture persists thanks to its institutions and book festival. Boston supports music heavily. Gramophone rated the BSO one of the world's top orchestras and one of the Big Five American orchestras. Symphony Hall, west of Back Bay, is home to the Boston Symphony Orchestra, Boston Youth Symphony Orchestra, and Boston Pops Orchestra. The Guardian dubbed Boston Symphony Hall one of the best classical music venues in the world and where science became a fundamental aspect of concert hall design. New England Conservatory's Jordan Hall hosts concerts. Boston Opera House hosts ballet performances. Boston Lyric Opera Company, Opera Boston, Boston Baroque, the first permanent Baroque orchestra in the U.S., and the Handel and Haydn Society are all in the city, one of the oldest choral companies in the United States. The city's conservatories and colleges are home to several current classical music ensembles. Boston Musica Viva and Boston Modern Orchestra Project. The Cutler Majestic Theater, City Performing Arts Center, Colonial Theater, and Orpheum Theater, all near the theater district south of Boston Common. First night on New Year's Eve, the Boston Early Music Festival, the Boston Arts Festival at Christopher Columbus Waterfront Park, the Boston Gay Pride Parade and Festival in June, and Italian summer feasts in the North End celebrating Catholic saints. City hosts 4th of July celebrations. They feature Harbor Fest and a Boston Pops concert with fireworks on the Charles River. Due to Boston's importance, several Revolution-era sites are protected in the Boston National Historical Park. Many are along the Freedom Trail, highlighted by red bricks. Boston is home to the Museum of Fine Arts and Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. Diller Scofidio plus Renfro designed the Institute of Contemporary Art's Seaport District building. SOA and Newberry St. both have art galleries. Columbia Point is home to the University of Massachusetts Boston, the Edward M. Kennedy Institute for the Senate, and the John F. Kennedy Presidential Library and Museum. The Boston Athenaeum, Boston Children's Museum, Bull and Finch Pub, from Cheers, Museum of Science, and New England Aquarium are in the city. Boston was an early religious center. The Episcopal Diocese of Massachusetts serves slightly under 200 congregations from the Cathedral Church of St. Paul, 1819. The Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Boston serves almost 300 parishes from the Cathedral of the Holy Cross, 1875, in the South End. UU's headquarters are at Fort Point. The mother church is in Back Bay, 1894. First church in Boston dates to 1630. King's Chapel, founded in 1686, became Unitarian in 1785. Other churches include Christ Church, 1723, Old North Church, Trinity Church, 1733, Park Street Church, 1809, Old South Church, 1874, Jubilee Christian Church, and Basilica and Shrine of Our Lady of Perpetual Help on Mission Hill, 1878. This is all for now. Thank you for being with us.